Hi, I'm Anatole, and this is my reaction video to Batman the Animated Series, Season 1, Episode 10, titled Two-Face Part 1. And if you've been following my series on Batman, you are more than aware that normally I only review this series. I think I've done one or two reaction videos before. Currently, it is Tet holiday in Vietnam, which is where I live and work right now. And so I have enough time that I can do a reaction video, since the editing of a reaction video takes a lot more time than the editing of a review video. That's the main reason why I do reviews for Batman instead of reaction videos. But I have the time, I'm on holiday, and I have the feeling this is going to be a very good two parts. Again, if you've been following me, you know I've been very unhappy. We've gotten some really uneven episodes. The beginning of Batman got off to a kind of mediocre start. Point of View, POV, was an excellent episode, but too many duds, especially the Joker episodes. However, IMDb's score for Two-Face Part 1 is 9.1 out of 1,500 votes. That's quite a good score. And I had the feeling, looking at this, there was a two-part episode, the character is Two-Face. I had a feeling this would be quite one of the better episodes. So I think that's the biggest reason why I'm doing a reaction video. I think I'm going to enjoy it. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. So join me after the intro and I will give you my reaction to Batman, the animated series, Two-Face Part 1. Nice title screen, nice art. Very good art direction. This is a strongly psychological opening.
Let's go.
Interesting. So what would become Two-Face, they're saying, was already deep inside Harvey before the accident.
Yes, and I'm glad to say that another one of Rupert Thorne's criminal rings has now been broken. As I stated in my
Open your eyes when they take the pictures.
I will not rest until Gotham City has been de-thorned once and for all.
All these characters with their puns and snappy one-liners.
You little weasel! I'll tear you apart!
Help! Get him off!
He's a DA. He's supposed to be the arbiter of justice, not vengeance.
Give me some help here. Kick mud in my face, will ya?
Temper. He's got a temper problem, not just Fane. Oh!
Harvey!
I like where they're starting his character. They're definitely making it easy to show the transition to Two-Face later.
The guy's a maniac. He's the one who should be going to jail.
Not me.
That little tantrum probably bought him another 10,000 votes.
Who's Mr. Thorne? He sounds familiar. John
All
Vernon.
men have something to hide.
Oh yeah, I know
The
him.
picture, the darker the negative.
I'll talk about what he's done in my review section, but he's a character actor. He's been around. John Vernon. Not sure if he's still alive, but you would recognize his face.
Mr. Dent, I have a question. When are you going to marry that gorgeous fiancée of yours?
Asking for a friend. ...
Harvey, you better look at this.
So these are sides of Harvey's character we did not see before when he was in the Pretty Poison episode. The vainness and the temper. I don't think that was in Pretty Poison.
Had to. He's been blocked.
Oh, they turned everything red for his anger. Nice. The art direction in this episode was really sharp, really strong.
Harvey, you didn't just lose your temper out there. You were like another person. I said I was sorry.
Almost like you have a dual identity.
He already is.
Sort of like me.
Grace.
McGovern? McGovern was the one who was seeing the shrink and had hurt him with the voters. But this is not hypnosis. This is not going to go well. Oh, that's great with his body, the way his shoulders are moving. I wonder if they filmed an actor for research reference before they animated that.
Then maybe I'll go. Right?
Well,
That's why I should get rid of you, because you're threatening my existence.
If anyone's leaving it.
You can't end Harvey's existence, that'll end yours, but you could end the shrink. Oh, sweet move.
Now, let's wait until all the returns are in.
And he won the election. Okay, I was not expecting that. Hubba, hubba, hubba.
Harvey, do you mean it?
It's part of my acceptance speech.
That's really narcissistic. He didn't even clear it with her first. He wants to do it in public where others can see
Phone call.
how this is all adding to his vanity. This beautiful woman is saying yes. He's a troubled individual.
Or perhaps you'd prefer I speak to the press first.
Well, how did she get this information? Because she was standing outside, she heard it? That's pretty lame. Okay, I really enjoyed the episode up to then. That's a lame contrivance.
Something wrong?
Hey, Harv, what's up? A surprise meeting, that's all. Now, with who? Just mind your own business, all
See,
right?
this is why the psychiatrist's office is supposed to be confidential, even safe from lawyers, so that it won't be used against someone. So why would the walls be so thin that some bad actor could stand outside and hear everything? I only buy this if the psychologist was evil and then used it against the patient. That would make more sense to me.
You're talking to the wrong Harvey.
Oh, nice shadows. He's become completely feral. That's why we don't wear capes on our superhero outfits. Is that there? I just learned about this famous yell. There's a name to it. I'll try to look it up again, but that sounded like that yell. It's a famous yell within Hollywood. And here we go, Two-Face.
Harvey. No.
Doctor, will he be all right?
Simple answer is no.
He's lucky, but a good plastic surgeon should be able to repair most of the physical scars.
Nah, it's not gonna happen.
Mental scars.
It would never look right.
Looks like dent's finally out of your hair.
I wish I could be sure of that.
He's a real villain. He's not recycling his paper. So Michael Shannon. So it occurs to me, I think his name is Michael Shannon. He'd be really good. Harvey Dent, Two-Face. Okay, so that's it for the part 1 of Harvey Dent. Join me in a second and I'll give you my thoughts on part 1. Hi everyone and welcome back. It's about a week later since I recorded my reaction to the Batman episode, and I've watched it 2 more times. And continuity check, since the recording of the reaction video, my shirt has gone into the wash and is currently unavailable. That's why I'm wearing a different t-shirt, and that's one of those golden rules of video production, is to continue wearing the same outfit through a piece so that you don't create jarring image for the viewer. It's not the first time I've broken one of the so-called golden rules, and it won't be one of the last. And now to get to my review part of the episode, the first thing I want to comment upon is the psychological complexity of the episode. One of the reviewers that I watched said that this episode is the turning point for the series in regards to finally finding the correct tone that it wants, the balance between adult material and also still being a kids show. And I think one way they do it here is in the psychological complexity of the character of Two-Face. We haven't had anything as psychologically deep up to now. We've had moments that touched upon psychological complexity. The episode, The Forgotten, when Bruce looks into the mirror and sees the Joker, and then his dream continues and he has all these people who are coming to him and he can't solve their problems by giving them money. That hinted at psychological complexity. But for the most part, the episodes haven't really dealt into the psychological. And that's one of the things, I think, one of the strengths of this episode. The way that it really looks at the deterioration of what is a good intentioned person, but someone who falls to the inner flaws within him. Someone who's seeking psychological help, but fears the stigma that help will bring. And I think that the hubris and the anger that are part of that illness are also what lead to his downfall. And during the viewing, I mentioned McGovern. I wasn't sure if McGovern had psychological counseling, and that was one of the reasons for his profound defeat in the 1972 presidential election. And I was close. It wasn't McGovern who had sought psychological help, but his first choice of vice president, Thomas Eagleton, who had been hospitalized 3 times and had also received electroshock therapy. And the stigma of all of that led for Eagleton to withdraw his nomination for the vice presidential candidacy nominee. And it can be claimed that that is one of the reasons why McGovern was defeated so soundly. The controversy that happened after that was revealed, that Eagleton had psychological counseling. And I think that we have in our history a vice presidential nominee, a failed vice presidential nominee, because of the stigma, also accounts for it accounts for why Harvey Dent doesn't want his secret to be revealed, because he feels he'll lose the election if it is. And historically, we can see that's an accurate fear. That is not an untoward fear. There's real basis for that fear. Then Shirley Walker, her score, I guess she's regarded as one of the best composers of Batman the Animated Series. I know that there are a few animation studios. I don't know if there was ever more than one composer, but she's generally held in high praise. And in this episode, there is a leitmotif that's used for Harvey Dent. I don't know if that's a genuine piece from classical music or not, but when we see the darker nature of Harvey beginning to try to gain control, that leitmotif plays in the background. And when at the very end, Two-Face, which is the darker aspect of Harvey Dent, comes out, Shirley Walker gives that score a full orchestra to symbolize that Two-Face now has come to his full strength, which is a brilliant piece of orchestration. Rupert Thorne was played by John Vernon, so that's the character actor. Rupert Thorne is the big bad, and he's the one who said, "Oh, I recognize that actor. I don't know from where," but he was Dean Martin in Animal House. If not Dean Martin, he was a Dean. Dean Martin may have been the character in Back to School, the Rodney Dangerfield movie. And he also played in Dirty Harry. I can't remember what role he was in Dirty Harry. Harvey is played by Richard Mall, who was Boole in Night Court. And what else did I have? Here's my notes here, kind of scrolling through, getting the high points. DA going to a police raid caused me a little bit of questioning. And apparently it's unusual but not unheard of for the DA, from what I've read, the DA to work in close coordination with the police for usually their targeted campaigns. What I found doing a Google search, I found several articles where the police were working with the DA for a gang raid campaign. Does that make sense? And that's the best instance I had of the DA and the police working very closely together. So DA going with the police to a raid just seems like a plot contrivance, because we needed to get the information out that the DA is running for re-election. That's why he's going with the police, because he wants to get on the news afterwards. And then because he's there, the criminal is able to get his ire, so then we can see that there's an anger management issue with Harvey Dent. So all that just seems to be for the contrivance of the plot. And great art direction, great use of light and shadows. Another way that this episode stands above some of the weaker ones we've had. What do I've got? I think I feel like we're kind of winding down now. Yeah, I talked about the writing being more sophisticated, so we get the psychological maturity, but there's also irony and foreshadowing. There's a scene where Harvey gets a call from Rupert Thorne, and so he runs off to meet him. And Bruce sees that Harvey's running off, and comes up to him and says, "Harvey, something's wrong, isn't it?" And Harvey says, "You don't know the half of it," because of him having conflict between that big bad Harv and Harvey Dent. So that's a little bit of irony there. I think I've covered all the main points. So we have, I think, the 2 episodes now that we can hold as being really mature episodes are up to this point, our point of view and Harvey Dent Part 1. And my understanding is Part 2 is also good. So I'm, excuse me, my throat's a little dry right now. I'm eagerly looking forward to Part 2, but regardless of that, Part 1 was great, and it is the quality I remember of the Batman animated series, and it was why I was excited to finally go back and watch the whole series and do reviews and reaction videos to them. So whatever your thoughts are on this episode, please leave them in the comments below. Subscribe, like, and I will see you next time. So until then, take care and be well. Goodbye.